This episode is brought to you by San Pellegrino Ciao. A gift from Italy to your home. San Pellegrino Ciao is a flavored sparkling water made with real fruit juice, finished with a pinch of Sicilian salt for a perfectly balanced taste. So which flavor will you choose? Peach, lime, blood orange, cherry, or maybe the all-new limoncello? Crafted in Italy with 0 grams of added sugar. San Pellegrino Ciao. Buy it now.
Sunday morning. Well, with us today is Roger Stone. And one good friend, one smart guy, has the president's ear. And, well, Roger, a lot of things have going on and a lot of moving parts. What do you want to cover first?
Well, John, I think the first and foremost, of course, has to be the peace agreement, the fact that the president has ended the hostilities. I would just remind everybody, you were the one who said it on my show, because I played the tape, that as soon as they opened the straits, that gasoline prices would head downwards, that the stock market would react favorably. You turned out to be absolutely right about all of that. Now, I admit to you, this is a fragile peace, but he has freed up the world oil market, and I think that's very, very significant.
And I can't understand the amount of criticism he's getting, because nobody else had the courage to stand up and get things done.
The problem, of course, is if you're Donald Trump, you're darned if you do and you're darned if you don't. So the people who criticized him for Midnight Hammer, criticized him for Epic Fury, criticized him for correctly reacting to the intelligence that indicated the Iranians were closer to a nuclear weapon than we thought. Now they're the same people who are criticizing him for ending that conflict. So in other words, it is Trump derangement syndrome writ large. He can't really, among some Americans, he can't do anything right.
Absolutely correct. I mean, he's taking a big bite out of the drug war, where it looks like it's not perfect, but we're winning, and a lot less kids are dying than they were before. A lot less people are dying than before. I mean, he's established the fact that the amount of fraud that's going on. So between drugs, fraud, the voting problem, the American people, we have to get to a point where the American people feel that, one American, one vote. I mean, California is a mess. Illinois is a mess. The Medicare problem, that's another big mess. I mean, where do you want to start?
Let's talk about the voter thing for a moment, because I think it's crucial. To me, unfortunately, what we saw here in these recent Los Angeles elections are the precursor to what we're going to see once again nationally. It is mathematically and statistically impossible for the candidate who was running third and who got 24% of the vote in the actual early voting and election day voting to now suddenly get 64% of the votes in the late incoming paper ballots, mail-in ballots, with the other Democrat, Karen Bass, is the current mayor, who, by the way, says her two heroes her political heroes are Mao Zedong and Fidel Castro. That's true. Getting the rest of those votes, and of course the third candidate, the Republican, getting none. Mathematicians and statisticians I've talked to tell me this is numerically and mathematically impossible, therefore a giant indicator of fraud. Look, I think you and I both agree. Mail-in voting is a bad idea. Before he fell out with Donald Trump, Attorney General Bill Barr, in an epic interview with Wolf Blitzer on CNN, said correctly, it's an open invitation for voter fraud. We need to return to the way elections were, John, when you and I were growing up. One man, one person, one vote. In a machine that's not an electronic. It can be an old-fashioned machine, but not one that is interconnected to other machines or to one central server.
If it's connected to the internet, I have a serious problem, because once it's connected to the internet, anything can happen.
Yes, it can be easily manipulated. Now, if the French can count 38 million paper ballots on Election Day. The French, you can't tell me that we can't do that. Of course we can do that. And until we do return to the Election Day being exactly that, and Election Day, that's the end. All votes are counted by Election Day. Absentee ballots, yes. If you have a legitimate reason to be absent, because let's say you're in the military or you have a legitimate work purpose and therefore you can't be in your hometown on Election Day. But other than that, we need to go back to the way it was. One person, one vote, paper ballot, all on one day, no mail-ins, and no electronic voting machines that are interconnected to the internet.
Well, I mean, are we going to be able to get there?
It's pretty amazing to me that the SAVE Act, which the president has renamed the Save America Act, is having trouble getting that through the Senate, because I keep hearing that it's controversial. And then you look at it, it only says two things. One, you have to be a U.S. citizen to vote in a federal election. That does not seem controversial to me. That seems like common sense. And two, you need a photo ID in order to vote. Well, you need a photo ID to get on an airplane. You need a photo ID to buy a six-pack of beer. You need a photo ID to buy a pack of cigarettes. You need a photo ID in order to, say, apply for welfare. Why would it not make sense to have a photo ID to vote? I'm sorry, but I don't find that racist. In fact, what I find racist is the implication that people of color are incapable of getting a photo ID, because, of course, they're not. Yet, I do think there's 50 votes for it in the Senate, but the Senate leadership won't post it for a vote until there are 60 votes for cloture, which as of today is not going to happen. Now you have a discussion, which is interesting to me, of connecting the extension of the FISA court authority. That's the government's ability to spy and collect information on foreign nationals, even if those foreign nationals are in communications with U.S. citizens, to connect that, because that law is expiring and requires renewal, to connect that renewal to passage of the SAFE Act. Now, I think this is where Trump is brilliant, because there are elements of the government who really want FISA to be renewed, and they can have that, but only if they agree to pass the SAVE Act. I think that's a brilliant move. In the end, sadly, I don't think either one is going to happen. I have to tell you the truth about that.
Well, Roger Stone, on a Sunday morning, it's good to review all the things that we're all upset about and what needs to be fixed. And thank you for coming on this Sunday morning. And I'll be listening to you this afternoon when your show comes up between 3 and 5.
Yes, you most certainly are. Out by popular demand, John. My mother's recipe for stuffed cabbage, Hungarian stuffed cabbage, today on the Roger Stone Show from 3 to 5, right here at 77 WABC.